All right, so are you one of those people always looking for work that doesn't actually feel like work?
I think we all are.
Right, like something that really speaks to your, passions and lets you kind of bypass that whole interview thing,
Yeah,
which can be so brutal.
it can be.
So yeah, if you're out there listening thinking that sounds like me, well, you are in the right place, my friend,
Absolutely.
because we've got an awesome deep dive set up just for you.
Ooh, exciting.
We are going to be uncovering 6 websites that are promising no interview online jobs and, get this,
What?
we're talking about everything from becoming a virtual assistant all the way to training AI models.
That's wild.
It is pretty wild, right? Some of these even claim to pay up to $80,000 a year.
80,000.
$80,000 a year.
Wow.
You sent over this YouTube video, and let me tell you, I was hooked.
Yeah, it sounds pretty enticing.
It really was.
But,
So,
like we always say,
yeah.
it's important to look beyond the surface. We'll dig into all the potential, all the good stuff, but also,
Gotta look out for the downsides.
the possible downsides. Yeah, it's not always sunshine and roses when it comes to making money online.
Definitely not. But that's why we're here, right?
That's why we're here.
To break it all down.
Absolutely.
So let's jump right in. The first site on our list is Fancy Hands. This is a platform for all you aspiring virtual assistants out there.
Ah, yes. Fancy hands. And even if virtual assistant isn't like your ultimate dream job,
Right.
this role offers so much flexibility.
What kind of stuff?
Think like scheduling, travel planning, even some light data entry.
Okay.
You're basically the right-hand person for whoever you're working for.
Very cool. And the YouTube video even mentions that you could potentially earn between $32,000 and $48,000 a year.
Not bad at all.
Not bad for working in your PJs.
Right. I mean, it's a fantastic way to kind of ease into remote work, especially if you're looking for something part-time.
Yeah.
But keep in mind,
What's that?
to really thrive as a virtual assistant, you really need
What is it?
those top-notch organizational and communication skills.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because you are essentially the face of your clients, even if it's like, a virtual face.
Yeah, a virtual face.
Exactly.
So true. Okay, so the next platform, Contena, this one is for all the wordsmiths out there.
Oh, yeah.
I think,
Writers?
yeah, all those freelance writing platforms like Fiverr and Upwork.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it can feel like a constant battle royal out there.
Very, very competitive.
Super competitive.
Right.
But Contena does things a little differently.
Right.
They actually connect you directly with companies that are looking for writers.
No bidding wars.
No bidding wars, no nothing.
I like it.
Right. Imagine that. And get this. There was this story on Reddit from someone who was claiming that they made somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000
Wow.
through Contena.
That's pretty impressive.
It is pretty impressive.
Of course, as with any of these success stories, it's important to remember that everyone's experience is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Your income is going to depend on a variety of factors. Your experience, the niche you choose to write in, and a little bit of luck always helps.
Yeah. Luck never hurts.
Never hurts.
But I mean, still skipping that whole endless cycle of pitching and proposals.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that would be a dream come true for a lot of writers.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah.
That direct connection can actually lead to, much stronger, more stable relationships with your clients.
Yeah.
Which is always a plus in the freelance world.
Absolutely. Okay. Are you ready for this next one?
I'm ready.
All right. Because it is serially cool.
Okay.
OneForma blends translation with data entry.
Okay.
And here's the kicker. You'll be training AI models.
Oh,
That's right. You could be shaping the future of technology right from your living room.
that is so cool.
I know, right? And the video even mentioned a potential salary range of $48,000 to $81,000.
Okay, so we're back in the big leagues now.
We are back in the big leagues, but
Keep in mind, that's based on having multiple jobs going at the same time.
so there's definitely a hustle factor involved.
There is definitely some hustle involved, but the great thing about OneForma is its global reach.
Oh.
So as long as you have access to PayPal or Payoneer, you can work from anywhere in the world.
That is awesome.
Talk about freedom, Rita. Okay. Time to unleash our inner critics.
Oh.
For those of you who love finding those little imperfections in apps and websites,
Oh, yeah.
Playbook UX is your new best friend.
I love it already.
I know, right?
They'll-
They'll actually pay you to find flaws and give your feedback.
What?
It's like turning your inner nitpicker into a side hustle.
That's amazing.
I know.
I mean, this one is perfect for anybody with, a sharp eye for detail and a genuine passion for improving user experience.
Totally.
You'll be working with companies that are just, eager to get your feedback on their digital products.
And that looks great on a resume.
It does. It does.
Plus, you get that really satisfying feeling of knowing that you were right when they finally fixed that button that was in the completely wrong spot.
Oh, so satisfying.
The best.
The best. Okay, so it's not going to make you rich. The pay is on the lower end, about $9 for a 90-minute session.
Good.
So maybe not a get-rich-quick scheme, but more like a
fun side hustle.
Yeah.
Get paid to do something you enjoy kind of situation.
Exactly. And you never know. It could be a fantastic stepping stone to a more, permanent position in the UX world.
Absolutely.
Which is a rapidly growing field with a lot of opportunity.
Huge.
Huge. Okay, now let's talk about Arise. This is a platform that connects you with customer service roles for some pretty big-name companies like Intuit QuickBooks,
Oh, wow.
Carnival Cruise Line.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, customer service, there's definitely no shortage of demand for that.
big time. And Arise really emphasizes flexibility.
In what way?
Well, you can actually choose to work as an agent, a contractor, or even establish your own company within their platform.
So you can be like a mini entrepreneur.
You can be like a mini mogul.
I love it.
But what does that actually look like, setting up your own company within Arise?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Basically, you'd be running your own customer service business, but leveraging Arise's existing infrastructure.
Okay.
So they're training their client network. They have this whole program that guides you through the whole process.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very unique opportunity for anyone who wants to, be their own boss, but maybe doesn't want to start completely from scratch.
Yeah, take a little bit of the pressure off.
Exactly.
Very cool. Now let's move on to the final website on our list. It is userinterviews.com. This is a platform dedicated to paid surveys and research studies.
Okay.
But I know what you might be thinking.
What's that?
Hold on. Haven't we all fallen for those, get paid to take surveys traps before?
I think we all have at least once.
At least once.
Yeah.
But userinterviews.com sets itself apart by partnering with legitimate companies
Yeah, okay.
that are genuinely looking for feedback to improve their products and services.
So you're not just like endlessly clicking through these surveys for pennies.
Not at all.
You're actually providing valuable insight that helps shape these products.
It's more about sharing your expertise and your opinions.
Exactly. And my advice,
Yes.
prioritize the research interviews over the surveys.
Okay.
They tend to pay better, and they offer a much more engaging, interactive experience.
You're much more likely to get compensated for your valuable thoughts and experiences, not just for clicking buttons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, the more detailed and constructive your feedback is, the more likely you are to be invited back for future studies.
So it's kind of like a snowball effect,
It is.
which could lead to even greater earning potential.
Absolutely.
So you're essentially being paid to help shape the future of products and services.
That's pretty cool.
Wow, that is pretty incredible. So we've covered a lot of ground here, and it's clear that there are some genuine opportunities out there
Definitely.
to bypass that interview process and dive right into some fascinating and potentially lucrative online work.
Absolutely. As with anything, there are some caveats to consider.
Of course, and that's what we're here to help you with.
That's what we do.
So before we move on to the second part of our deep dive, I want you to take a moment to just reflect
Wow.
on what stood out to you from these first few websites.
Yeah, what piqued your interest? What resonated with you the most?
Hold on to those thoughts, because when we come back, we'll be exploring the benefits and drawbacks of these no-interview jobs in even more detail.
We'll get into the nitty-gritty.
Love it. Welcome back. I don't know about you, but I am feeling inspired by all these no-interview job possibilities.
Me too. It's exciting stuff.
But before we get too ahead of ourselves,
Yes.
let's take a closer look at, the potential pros and cons here.
Yeah, a healthy dose of reality is always a good idea.
Always a good idea. So let's start with Fancy Hands, that virtual assistant haven that we talked about. The flexibility and the earning potential. I mean, it's definitely tempting.
It is.
But I imagine it takes a certain personality type to really excel in a role like that.
Absolutely. I mean, remember, even though you're working behind the scenes, it's still a client-facing role.
Right.
You're essentially running a mini business, even if you're not calling yourself CEO.
Right. So time management, communication,
Yeah.
and maybe most importantly, setting boundaries.
Boundaries are key.
It's so easy to get caught up in that always-on mentality when you're working from home.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's so tempting to squeeze in just one more task,
Right.
but that is a slippery slope to burnout.
And burnout is the creativity killer.
It is.
especially in a role like that where you really need to be on top of your game. Okay, let's shift gears to Contenna,
Okay.
that writing platform that connects you directly with clients. I mean, it sounds like a dream come true.
It does.
But are there any potential downsides we should be aware of?
Well, while that direct connection is a major plus, it also means that you're responsible for nurturing those client relationships.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about churning out content. It's about understanding their needs and delivering exactly what they're looking for.
So it's still a hustle, just a different kind of hustle.
Right. And don't forget the age-old challenge of staying motivated and productive when you're working independently.
Yeah, that's a skill in and of itself.
It really is.
All right, next up is OneForma, that platform where you can translate, do data entry,
Oh, yeah.
and even train AI models.
That one's really cool.
That one's really cool. I'm particularly curious about the AI training aspect.
Yeah.
Is it as straightforward as it sounds?
I actually tried it myself,
Oh, wow.
and I was surprised by how engaging the tasks were.
Yeah.
It felt like solving language puzzles.
Oh, wow.
But it does require a certain level of technical aptitude
Okay.
and a keen eye for detail.
So it's not just about translating words.
No.
It's about understanding like the nuances of language
It is.
and how those nuances can impact the AI's performance.
Exactly. It can be pretty challenging,
Yeah.
especially when you're dealing with multiple languages and cultural contexts.
Right.
But seeing the AI improve over time, knowing that you played a role in its development,
Yeah.
it's incredibly rewarding.
That is pretty amazing. Okay, let's talk about Playbook UX, where you get
Yeah.
paid to test apps and websites.
Oh yeah, the inner critic.
I know.
Unleashed.
Unleashed. I love it. It sounds like a really fun way to earn some extra cash.
It does.
But what are like the realistic expectations here?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, the pay isn't going to make you rich.
Okay.
But
That's it.
if you view it as a way to, gain valuable experience and build your portfolio,
Right.
it's a great option.
So it's like an internship, but you actually get paid.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And you're gaining real insights into the world of UX,
Right.
a field that is, only growing in demand.
For sure. Plus, you get paid to do what many people do for free anyway.
Exactly.
Critique apps and websites.
I do it all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that it's not just about finding flaws.
Yeah.
It's about offering constructive criticism
Yes.
and suggesting improvements.
Companies want solutions, not just complaints.
Exactly. Okay, last but not least, let's revisit Arise, that customer service platform. We've already talked about the flexibility,
Yeah.
the need for, strong communication skills.
Mm-hmm.
What other factors should we be considering here?
One thing to keep in mind is that customer service can be emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
You're interacting with people who are often frustrated or upset.
Oh, for sure. So you definitely need a thick skin
A thick skin.
and a healthy dose of empathy.
Absolutely. And it's crucial to learn how to detach from those interactions.
Right.
So that you don't impact your own personal well-being.
That's a great point. It's easy to take things personally, especially when you're working from home.
Yeah.
And the lines between work life and personal life
They get blurry.
get very blurry. And let's not forget the technical side of things.
Oh, right.
You'll need a reliable internet connection,
It's very important.
a dedicated workspace free from distractions,
Yes.
and potentially even specialized software depending on your client.
It all adds up.
It does. So there's definitely a certain level of investment required.
There is.
Even if it's just like setting up a proper home office, it's not as simple as just logging on and answering calls.
It's not as easy as it sounds.
Definitely not. So we've covered a lot of ground here. I think the big takeaway is that these no-interview online jobs offer, a real mix of advantages and challenges.
They do.
It's all about finding the right fit for your individual needs and goals.
Like online dating for your career.
It is like online dating for your career.
Yeah.
That is such a good analogy.
I'll take credit for that one.
Okay, so before we move on to our final segment where we're going to explore some additional resources and considerations, I want to ask you our listener question.
Ooh, I like it.
What are your non-negotiables when it comes to work?
Yeah.
What are those things that you absolutely need in a job to feel fulfilled and motivated?
That's a good one.
Keep those non-negotiables in mind as we wrap things up. Okay, we are back and ready for the final part of our deep dive. I don't know about you, but I am ready to ditch the traditional job search and just dive headfirst into the world of no-interview online work.
It is exciting stuff, but as we've been talking about, There are definitely some things to consider before taking the plunge.
I think you're right. I think a lot of people get so swept up in the idea of, working from home and making money online
Right.
that they don't always think about the bigger picture.
Exactly. It's easy to get, caught up in the allure of quick money and kind of skip those crucial first steps.
Right.
That's why it's so important to be strategic about this.
Yeah.
Before you just jump into anything, take some time to really assess your skills, your interests, and what you want to achieve long term.
So it's not just about finding any online job. It's about finding the right online job for you.
Precisely. Don't just chase the dollar signs.
Yeah.
Think about how these opportunities can contribute to your personal and professional growth.
Okay, I like that.
Ask yourself, what am I good at? What do I actually enjoy doing? And where do I see myself in 5 years?
Those are good questions.
Those answers are going to guide you toward the right opportunities.
Okay, so if you're a natural organizer
Yes.
who loves anticipating needs, maybe Fancy Hands is calling your name?
Right? Or if you have a passion for language and a knack for technology, perhaps OneForma's translation and AI training roles would be a better fit.
Right, and if you are a grammar fanatic
Oh, yeah.
who can't resist polishing every sentence,
Every sentence.
maybe Contena is like your perfect writing haven.
Exactly. The key is to find that opportunity that truly aligns with, your core strengths and your passions.
Yeah.
When work feels like a natural extension of who you are, that's when the magic happens.
When the magic happens. I love that. But what about those people who are just starting out, who
Mhm.
haven't quite figured out their strengths or their passions yet?
Right.
Any advice for them?
That's where, exploration and experimentation come in.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to try different things.
Yeah.
And see what sparks your interest. You never know what you might discover about yourself along the way.
So maybe dip your toes into Playbook UX's app testing, or sign up for a few paid research studies on userinterviews.com.
Exactly.
Oh.
Those experiences can give you valuable insights into different fields and help you clarify your career aspirations.
It's all about learning by doing right.
It is. You can read all the articles and watch all the videos in the world,
Right.
but sometimes you just need to jump in and get your hands dirty.
That's so true. And remember, even if a particular opportunity doesn't turn into a long-term career, the skills and experience that you gain along the way are invaluable.
Absolutely. It's all about building that diverse skill set and expanding your horizons.
Yeah, and speaking of expanding horizons, let's not forget the importance of continuous learning.
So important.
I mean, the online world is constantly evolving, so staying curious and adaptable is crucial.
Absolutely. Even if you find a niche that you absolutely love, you still need to stay ahead of the curve.
Oh.
Keep learning, keep growing, and don't be afraid to embrace new technologies and trends.
Love it. So to wrap things up, what's the one thing that you want our listener to take away from this deep dive into the world of no-interview online jobs?
Don't just settle for a job. Find work you can love, work that lights you up and makes you feel like you're making a difference.
I love that. It's not just about earning a paycheck. It's about finding fulfillment and purpose in what you do.
Exactly. And with a little bit of effort and a strategic approach, you can absolutely find that fulfillment in, this vast and ever-expanding world of online work.
Well said. And for those of you who want to explore these opportunities even further, we've included links to all of the websites we've discussed in our show notes. Happy exploring, and remember, the perfect online job for you is out there waiting to be discovered.
Until next time, keep diving deep.